A couple of weeks ago, I unfortunately fell for a rage bait post by a pro Snyder fan, and I'm not going to be ashamed to admit that I fell for another rage bait post by a pro Snyder fan. Even though I do realize that falling for these type of rage bait posts is bad for your mental health, but unfortunately, I'm going to sacrifice my mental health to call out something so stupid. I'm going to call out something so blissfully and willfully ignorant. And I'm going to call out something that really proves that these Snyder fans, they hate the comics, they hate the source material, they hate anything that comes with these characters, that comes with the DC universe as a whole. They only want to support and to love and to promote anything that is made from Zack Snyder. They really are going to go to war to defend Zack Snyder. They're going to create false narratives, to create delusional takes, to create fake stories just so that they can support Zack Snyder. And look, it's one thing to support Zack Snyder, and it's good to support Zack Snyder. It's good to support whoever you want, but it's another thing to create baseless, fake, false and delusional narratives just so that you can get your win in an argument, and you're trying to invalidate someone else's opinions about said argument. And you're probably asking to yourself, yo, big bro, why did you fall for the rage bait again? Well, honestly, man, when I was scrolling through Twitter, I was actually bored. I was doom scrolling, and I stumbled upon a post that is so retarded, a post that is so dumb, a post that really proves that these Snyder niggas, they really hate the comics, and they will proudly tell you that they hate the comics. They will proudly scream at the top of Mount Everest, and this megaphone will be hooked up to every single country in the world so that everyone can hear them. They will proudly yell and proclaim their hate for the comics because they are so willingly and blissfully ignorant to the comics. And it gets to a point where they're trying to make up fake and delusional takes. And one of these fake and delusional takes is that Zack Snyder invented everything from DC. They're trying to claim that Zack Snyder invented Superman, Batman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, you name it. They will believe that Snyder invented these characters, or they will believe that Snyder invented the stories for these characters. And an example that I can give you right now is this dude, bro. So there is this Twitter user called It's Just Nick, right? And he was reposting a post from this Twitter user called the_villain_. And this account that he reposted was just posting a fake Superman suit that was altered. And the Superman suit, it changed the colors from the traditional red, yellow, and blue to black and white. And that guy just made this post asking everyone, what if the suit was black? But the thing is, It's Just Nick, he took this post and he thought that this post is a clear indication that the people who support Gunn and James Gunn himself are trying to steal and copy ideas from Zack Snyder, because he quote tweeted this saying, they don't want me, they just want my ideas. And that's something that Zack Snyder said. That's a quote that he directly said. And this dude, Nick, he is trying to paint this as if Zack Snyder was the one that created the black Superman suit. And he's also trying to paint this like Zack Snyder is the only person in media history that has ever adapted a black Superman suit. And I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking to myself, wow, these Snyder fans are delusional. They really believe that Snyder created Superman. They really believe that Snyder created everything that comes with Superman. They probably believe that Snyder created Lois Lane and Lex Luthor and Jimmy Olsen. And before I continue with It's Just Nick, someone else, this person that goes by the name of Snyder_Queen, she also quote tweeted this post, and she now actually put a picture showing that Zack Snyder is the blueprint. These people are delusional. They really need to go to a mental health psychiatric clinic so that they can fix their mental health problems. They really need to stop this delusional obsession with Zack Snyder. It's causing them to create false and fake narratives. It's causing them to believe something that is completely made up in their mind. And now to completely debunk It's Just Nick's claim that the quote from Zack Snyder where he stated, "They don't want me, they just want my ideas." Well, It's Just Nick, if you actually picked up a comic, if you actually watched the prior DC installments before Man of Steel, It's Just Nick would realize that the black suit has been done since the 1990s, bro, because literally the first ever notable and known time Superman donned the black suit was when he was resurrected after being killed by Doomsday in the 90s. This is something that the entire world knows. Even if you're a casual Superman fan, even if you're a casual superhero fan, you know that at one point Superman died, he came back, he had long hair, and he had a black suit. But that's not the only example I'm going to provide to debunk Nick's claim that Zack Snyder is the one that created the black Superman suit, because by the quote that he put on his post, he stated that they don't want me, they just want my ideas. Well, here is another example showing that the black Superman suit was done way before Zack Snyder, even in live action, because in the TV show Lois and Clark, Superman, he donned the black suit. Now granted, this black suit looks a little different to our traditional peak black suit. This black suit has black and blue instead of black and silver / gray / white. This black suit, it looks completely different, but guess what? This was done in Lois and Clark, and also this was done in the 90s. So the live action adaptations of Superman beat Zack Snyder by 18 plus years, bro. Now that's not the only example I'm going to bring, because if you watch Batman Beyond, that peak TV series that introduced us to Terry McGinnis, right? So there is an arc in that show that shows the Justice League in the future. It shows Superman, it shows Big Barda, it shows Warhawk, it shows a variation of the Green Lantern, and we see Superman donning a black suit. He's donning a peak and a slick and a very sexy black and white suit. Honestly, one of my favorite Superman suits of all time when I was growing up. Batman Beyond's duration was from the late 1990s to the very early 2000s. So the black Superman suit has been done before. I don't know what these Snyder fans are thinking. Now we're gonna leave the 1990s and we're going to jump into the future by going into the 2000s, because when you watch Smallville, the CW show that was very good in my honest opinion, it was a very good adaptation of Superman. We are looking at another black suit that Superman donned in the show. Like, what are we even doing? These niggas actually need psychological help. They need mental health reevaluation, because they need to get their mind in check. They need to grow out of this obsession of hating James Gunn and jerking off Zack Snyder. It's like they got two dicks in their hands. One is for jerking off Zack Snyder, one is for jerking off James Gunn, because even though they claim they hate James Gunn, they're still gonna jerk him off, because every single post that this It's Just Nick guy has, and every other Snyder supporter who claimed to hate James Gunn. But the thing is, all of these Snyder supporters and Gunn haters will constantly post about James Gunn every single day. They will post about James Gunn every single hour of the day, whether it's 12 p.m., whether it's 8 p.m., 8 a.m., 9 p.m., 12 a.m. They will continue to post someone who they claim that they hate. If you hate someone, why will you constantly post them? There are sometimes he posts about other things, but most of the time he's posting about James Gunn. That's why I'm believing that he has two dicks in his hand. One is for Zack Snyder and one is for James Gunn, bro. Also, Snyder horribly adapted the black suit for Superman, because in the comics, the black suit is supposed to emphasize and to highlight Superman's resurrection. It's supposed to show that Superman has been rehabilitated. Superman is using this suit to rehabilitate, to regenerate his powers, and he's supposed to look different. He's supposed to have a mullet. He's supposed to have no color on the suit except for the white / silver colors. But in the Snyderverse, the black black suit is literally Henry Superman's base suit. Like, this is just the Superman suit for the Snyderverse, but the colors are swapped. The already muted blue, red, and yellow colors are just swapped for black and silver. So this Snyderverse Superman suit is ass. It's so ass that even taking a shit is more entertaining than looking at this suit because it's sauceless. It's supposed to look different, but Snyder didn't really care about being accurate to the comics, so he just made a black suit for the Snyderverse Superman that looks exactly like his base suit. The Snyder supporters need to stop jerking off to this suit. This suit is ass. Another time Superman wore the black suit was when we leave the media adaptations, like the live action and the animated adaptations, and we go to the comics, we go to the source material, and we go to a story called Emperor Joker, one of the most fun and interesting events that DC has ever created. But this event is literally showing that the Joker, he manipulated and he tricked Mr. Mxyzptlk into giving him powers of an imp, and Joker instantly used these powers to take over the world, to kill Batman multiple times, always reincarnating Batman and killing him in new ways. And Superman, he donned the black suit. Now this black suit, in my honest opinion, is very underrated and is very good. I really like how this black suit looks, but this black suit is a black suit, and this black suit was done before Zack Snyder. Man, I'm saying black suit so many times in this video. If someone could count how many times I'm saying the black suit, I would really appreciate it, man. But that's not the only time Superman wore the black suit, because in Superman Doomsday that got released in 2007, this movie was kind of mid. I think the Death of Superman handled this story way better all the way in 2018, but this movie had Superman donning the iconic black suit with many differences from the original black suit. But we're still seeing Superman rock the mullet, we're still seeing Superman being revived and being reborn, and Superman now is wearing the black suit, bro. But there are many other black suits that I will not even talk about in this video because they all debuted after Zack Snyder created Batman v Superman and Justice League. But the last one I will talk about is from the comic series Lois and Clark, and this comic series happened during the New 52 after Convergence. I hated the New 52 and I didn't really like this story, even though this story is a good story. I just hated the New 52 as a whole. But this story happened in 2015 and the Justice League movie got released in 2016, so this story actually happened a good year before that movie. And guess what? Superman donned the black suit again, because this Superman was from New Earth. Due to the Convergence story being so weird and the New 52 timeline being so stupid, we had two Superman roaming at the same time, the pre-Flashpoint Superman and the New 52 Superman. But this pre-Flashpoint Superman with Lois Lane and John Kent, they were hiding in this universe, and Superman had to wear a different suit because he didn't want the public to be confused with two Supermen. So he had to wear a black suit, and this black suit is pretty good, I can't lie to you. It's a very great black suit. I think it's probably the second best black suit in my honest opinion. But bro, there are other examples that I can list, and I'm not going to list because they all happened after the Justice League movie that was released. Even though it was the Whedon's version of the Justice League movie, that movie was actually created from Zack Snyder. But these Zack Snyder fans, they need to stop believing that Zack Snyder is the blueprint for everything. They need to stop believing that Zack Snyder created characters, that Zack Snyder created every single aspect about DC. Zack Snyder is not the blueprint. Going off of their own logic, that means Zack Snyder is a talentless hack for adapting and being inspired by ideas that happened before him. He's a talentless hack for being inspired by the Death of Superman story. He's a talentless hack for being inspired by the Dark Knight Rises story that happened in the 80s that reinvented Batman. He's a talentless hack for trying to kill off Superman. He's a talentless hack for trying to introduce the Justice League. He's a talentless hack for being inspired by the New 52 version of the Justice League. So this logic is so dumb because it just completely contradicts their own opinions about Zack Snyder. If they're calling everyone a talentless hack for being inspired inspired, quote unquote, by Zack Snyder's ideas, that means Zack Snyder is the biggest hack of all time because he was inspired by multiple ideas that helped to shape up his version of the DC universe, man. But I just wanted to make this video, man. This video is kind of long, but I just had to talk about this topic because these niggas, they really need help. They need to stop believing that Zack Snyder is the be-all, end-all for DC, bro. Like, they need to stop jerking off James Gunn and Zack Snyder at the same time, bro. It's crazy. It's unhealthy. They need to get a new obsession. They need to get a new hobby. They need to do something with their lives, man, because hating on James Gunn 24/7 and jerking off Zack Snyder 24/7 is not healthy for your mental health, bro. That's the end of the video. I'm out. Peace.